Hello, my awesome third grade artist. Today we're starting a new project. We're going to be creating sunflowers on a starry night. And our inspiration is a very famous artist that many of you may have heard of before. His name is Vincent Van Gogh. And so this is a picture of him. Vincent Van Gogh did a lot of self-portraits. That's just when you paint or draw a picture of yourself, and this is one of them. And he lived in the years 1853 to 1980. He was a Dutch post-impressionist painter, so he painted after the Impressionists. Some of you may remember we've talked about Impressionism before. Some second graders may remember that we've talked about an Impressionist artist named Monet. Well, Vincent Van Gogh painted after his time. That's why we call it post-impressionist. And he created around 2,100 pieces of artwork in just over a decade. His work is known for its bold colors, expressive brushwork, and contoured forms. Van Gogh produced landscapes, still lifes, portraits, and self-portraits, and is considered a vanguard figure in modern art. Born into an upper-middle-class family, Van Gogh was serious and thoughtful as a child. One of the things about Van Gogh was, though, that during his time when he was alive, lots of people really didn't like his artwork. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes people's artwork is just so different that people don't understand it and they don't like it. But now Van Gogh is one of the most famous artists who has ever lived. So people's ideas of what is good art can change over time, and everybody likes different things. So you may like something better than your friend may like. So just remember that artwork can always change, and what you don't like, somebody else may love. So I also wanted to show you this map of the world, and Van Gogh was born in the Netherlands. So we live here in the United States of America on the continent of North America, and the Netherlands are in Europe. That's this area. This is called Europe. This is a continent. And the Netherlands is a small little country. That's where he was born. And I'm going to show you, because in this lesson we're combining the ideas of two of Van Gogh's pieces of artworks. One is Starry Night. This is probably his most famous piece of artwork. You've probably seen it before. It's on so many different things. People have it on t-shirts. I have a iWatch band that has Starry Night on it. Even my pass, this is what my badge is in. This is a piece of Starry Night from there. So very, very famous. And when we talk about the brush strokes he used, in his art, you can see all of his brush strokes. He didn't smooth them out or blend them out, and you can see them. And they create lots of movement. There's lots of repetition of shapes and brush strokes. It makes his work very exciting. And he was also well known for doing sunflowers. He did lots of flowers, but he's really well known for doing sunflowers. And this is another one of his paintings called 12 Sunflowers. And if you look closely, you can kind of see where you would be able to see his individual brush strokes. I've seen many pieces of Van Gogh's artwork in person at art museums, and the brush strokes are so thick, you can just see that paint sticking up there and all the texture it gives to the piece. And it would take his artworks a long time to dry because he used oil paint. And oil paints take a long time to dry, and when you put them on that thickly, it really took a long time. So I really love him, love his artwork. So to begin with, I want the teachers to show the YouTube video, Vincent Van Gogh for Children, Biography for Kids, Free School. So in your lesson plans, you'll see just how to type that in your search bar on YouTube. Show the students that to kind of give them some inspiration about Van Gogh. And then we're just going to start by making our Starry Night backgrounds. So you're going to get a piece of black construction paper, and you are going to put your name label on the back. You can go ahead and do this. And then you're going to get some oil pastels, and you're going to start creating a Starry Night background. So it's a Starry Night. Van Gogh used lots of cool colors, and we're going to do that also. So in our background, you can choose some of your your blues and your greens, and then we're going to add some accents of white, and you can use yellow also for the stars. But I'm just going to start by making these loose circular shapes just all over. They can overlap. He liked doing these swirls. I'm going to make some go this way, some go that way, all over. Now, you could do yours. You don't have to do yours just like mine. Let me pull this Starry Night. You could have some that go where the swirls are longer and drawn out and more like that. It's up to you, but I'm just showing you how I did mine. So now I'm going to just kind of keep going back over them. So I'm using an oil pastel. Remember, I told you he used oil paint, but I'm going to make my strokes with my oil pastel so you can see each individual stroke, all the lines I'm creating. Maybe I'll just do some circles to fill up some space here, just real loose. Right now I'm using a light oil pastel, light blue, but you use the colors you like. You don't have to go in the same order that I'm going in. I'm going to use now this more of a teal, a blue-green, and I'm going just back around all of these lines that I had previously made. Really loose. This is in the style of Van Gogh. It's kind of fun because you don't have to worry about being perfect. Making our own Starry Night. Maybe I'll come in and make some stars that are yellow. Just some little dots here and there to represent stars. Maybe you want to try to make some little stars. You do yours how you do yours, because we don't want them all to look the same. That would be boring. It's more exciting when everybody's art looks different. I'm going to take this darker blue. It shows up really well. Even though it's dark, it shows up really well on this black construction paper. So you're going to keep doing that with several layers of color. Okay, let me do one more. You could even keep going. You could add some purple if you wanted to. I'm going to go in with some white now, and white will just kind of add some highlights in there. Maybe I'm going to go around my stars with some white. You can see all of my strokes that I'm creating with my oil pastel, just like Van Gogh. Okay, so when you get that how you like it, you can just put that over to the side, and that will be your background for later. Make sure your name is on the back. Now we're going to make our sunflowers and our leaves. So you're going to get a piece of watercolor paper, and we're going to draw some sunflowers on it and some leaves. So to begin with, for your sunflowers, you're going to need to use a circle template to make the center. I've already got some over here. I'm going to put that here so you can kind of see. These are ones that I'm already made, but I'm going to show you how I made them. So let's make 3 sunflowers on our paper, and we're making them kind of big. So to help you, if you have this green template, you're going to go with the largest circle. So I'm going to put one. I'm going to open this up. I like using these fat Sharpies that look like that. So I'm going to put one up here. I don't want to go all the way. If I went all the way to the top, I wouldn't have room for my petals. If I went all the way to the side, I wouldn't have room for my petals. So I am going to put 1, pick that up, 2, and kind of here 3. Leaving room. You got to have room for your petals. And I'm using Sharpie because it's permanent, and when I go to do my watercolor, it will not bleed. If I used a Crayola marker, it would bleed. So now I'm going to come up here, and you decide what you want your petals to look like. I'm going to do these kind of long, almost like an elliptical shape. An elliptical shape is like a football. So it's almost, and I just go all the way around, trying to kind of make them be about the same size. Now, sunflowers, though, don't all look the same. These are going to have to be a little bit smaller because I didn't leave a whole lot of room, but that's okay. Some sunflowers have petals that are more like this. So you decide how you want to make your petals. You can make them all the same. All of your sunflowers have the same kind of petals, or they can be different. And going to go back doing this one. Okay, now while we're still working on this, let's add some leaves. So we need to have about 3 or 4 leaves because you need to be able to fill some space. So I'm going to make a big leaf here. Now this is an elliptical shape. This It's like think about like a football. I'm going to make a line in the middle. Now, you can make your leaf look however you want. I'm going to make some veins in my leaf that look like this. Let me make another big one down here. Maybe I'll make these kind of curve that would go like this. Maybe you could think of some other ways that veining would look on leaves. I think I could put a little leaf, fit one in here, and I'll just put one vein in the middle and another here. Maybe you can fit even one more, okay? Now, in the center of our sunflowers, let's give it a little interest so they're just not so plain. So I like to make another circle. I'm not using a template. I'm just going to draw a circle, and I'm going to make like this one. Sometimes sunflowers, you know, in the middle of a sunflower are all the little seeds, and sometimes they have this, the way the petals do, it's kind of fuzzy looking in the center, so I just kind of made it like this. As the seeds like get older and fall out, it kind of leaves the center looking sort of like that. On this one, I'll make a center, and maybe I'll make another circle like this. This is totally up to you how you do it. And then maybe I'll just go in and make some dots to represent seeds. You can do yours however you want. Be creative. Come up with something different than what Miss Tracy's doing. Let me do another one here. Maybe I'll make another circle here, fuzzies. And then maybe I'll make another circle here. Okay, so when you have that done, then it's time to start painting with our watercolor. So we're going to be using a palette of watercolor that looks like this. And you'll have a brush, and you'll have a container of water, and you need a paper towel. You see how pretty, these all look pretty neat, and these have been used before because I'm washing my brush out in between colors. It's very, very important that you do that. If you don't do that, your colors will get all mixed up and they won't be pretty vibrant colors anymore. So you just decide the colors you want to paint. Now, I really like to choose warm colors for my flowers because it's going to create contrast, okay? So our background, we used cool colors. And in order for our flowers to have contrast and really stand out, we can use warm colors. They're the opposite of each other. So wet your brush, dip your brush in water, and I'm going to come over and just get some of this red. Add the water to it, stir it around good, and you will have some red paint on your brush, and you can just go in and start painting. When the paint starts to run out, go back. You may need to get a little bit more water. I'm not getting too much water, or water will just start going everywhere. It's very important. And then I just keep going with my painting. Go all the way around. And we're going to cut these sunflowers out. So it's okay if you get out of the lines because you're going to be cutting these out. But try to stay in the lines, but it's okay if you accidentally get out of the lines. I'm just going to paint one sunflower, and then you'll be able to finish yours because I think you'll get the hang of this. Anytime your brush starts to feel scratchy, like the paint's not flowing on it, get a little more water. And in my red, there's still a good bit of water there, so I'm not even going to dip it again. I'm just going to get it. Okay. Now, I want to change color and do the middle part of my flower different, so I need to wash my brush. So I'm going to stick my brush in the water all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to scrub it on the bottom. Bring it out, and I'm going to drag it along the sides to get most of the water out. But you'll still have some water. You just don't want puddles of water. And I'm going to come with this yellow color. So see, I'm not getting any red in. I cleaned my brush. Teachers, make sure that you are changing out the water pretty regularly because when the water starts to get dirty, it will contaminate the paint. And then I'm going to change color again. Stick my brush all the way to the bottom, scrub it, drag it on the side to get most of the water off. And I'm going to go with this orange. I'm going to just go around. Oh, it's starting to run out. The colors run out. And I feel like I need a little more water. So I'm just going to barely tap it in there. Pick up a little more water. Add it to this. Let's see what a good job we can do of not contaminating all of our colors and leaving them looking really nice. Okay. All right, so then you'll finish painting that. This is one that I have finished painting over here. And then we're going to go in with a few more details with some oil pastel, just to give it some interest. So after it's dried, I'm going to make sure you have your name on this when you put it on the dry rack. Just write it on there because you'll need it. You'll need your name to know for the next class period to add your oil pastel. So I'm just going to go in with some oil pastels and kind of put a few lines on there and give it a little interest. So like on the leaves, I may get a green and I may just make a few lines like that. And that's like a bluish green color. So maybe I want to make some like that. You can do however you want. There's no right or wrong here. On this flower, maybe I'm going to come in and add a little line in the middle of them with my oil pastel. I could even go in and make some little dots representing seeds. I'm using brown. So on every flower, I want you to go in and every flower and every leaf and add a little bit of detail with oil pastels. Okay, that's what you're going to do in a class period. Then the next thing you're going to do is cut out a vase because it's going to start being time to assemble our collage because that's what this is. This is a collage. So we've got our background and the vase is on the very bottom. The flowers overlap the vase. So we have to put the vase down first and then the flowers are going to and the leaves are going to overlap it. So for the vase, you have a piece of this patterned paper that has been pre-cut for you. You need to hold it so the long side is going up and down. That means vertical. We call that vertical when the long side goes up and down. Hold it like that. Let's fold it in half this way so you see the white. And then we're going to cut out a vase shape. I'm going to move this over here for just a second. I'm going to use a pencil. And this is my folded side. It's very important that you cut from your folded side. So when we open this up, it's going to be symmetrical vase. I'm going to draw a vase shape. There are so many vase shapes you could draw, but this is what I'm going to draw. I'm going to start very close to the top and make a straight line. And I'm going to curve it like this. Now, I would love for your teachers to maybe show you some other ideas of vase shapes. There's so many, or you could even come up with your own vase shape. But now remember, the folded edges on this side, I'm going to cut it out. The reason I drew on the white side is because when we open the vase up, you won't see my pencil lines. I'm cutting and I'm turning the paper as I cut. Okay. Now when I open this up, I have a beautiful vase. Okay, so now I am going to glue it down. So I'm going to, on the back, you can use regular glue or glue stick. This paper is pretty thin, so I'm going to use a glue stick for this part, but then I'm going to use regular glue for my flowers because they're thick. And I'm going to glue my vase down at the bottom. Press it down really good and get your vase glued down. Okay, next you're going to get your flower sheet that you had made and you're going to cut out each individual flower and leaf. So when we cut, again, I want to show you, when I cut these out, I like to go in and cut one flower out, just going all around it. It'll make it easier to just get it down to one piece like this. And then I go in and start cutting. I'm going to cut just around the edge so you kind of see my black lines. When I go around that petal, I'm turning my paper. Do you see how I'm turning my paper and not my scissors? Cut that off. I'm going around to the edge of the black, so you're not cutting off your black. Turn my paper, cut. Take your time, you can do this. Turn my paper. All the way around. Now, if you don't get these all finished in one class period, your teacher will need to paper clip them together or put them in a Ziploc bag so you have them all together for your next class period when you attach them all to the collage. And I'm just going to cut one out and we'll talk about putting it together because I don't think you want to watch me cut all these out. Turn your paper, turn your paper. I'm using my left hand. I have my scissors in my right because I'm right-handed, but if you're left-handed, you would be the opposite. But I'm turning the paper in my left hand. Okay, and there's my flower. So you're going to go ahead and do that with every leaf and flower on your page. And then it will be time to assemble. So you just decide, once you get it all cut out, then you can kind of assemble it all together and look at it before you glue it down so you kind of see how it's going to look. This is my finished piece. Make sure all the flowers are touching each other. They're not spaced too far. If I had them spaced too far, I would need to draw in individual stems for the flowers. But these are also close that the stems are hidden. So think about your placement, and that's why we're doing the extra leaves, just to have everything looking really full up here. And I also, you can do this or you don't have to. I took my black Sharpie and kind of outlined the edges of my vase just to give it a little definition. You can do that. You don't have to do that. It's up to you. So I cannot wait to see what your finished pieces will look like. I'm going to put them on Artsonium, maybe even go in the art show. So work hard, do a good job, and I'll see you next time. Bye.